is it to introduce how is it to introduce your son to this session? How different is the feeling, being a father? I think it's different, I'm sure. And you look more excited than ever.
Word comes to my mind is proud. Yeah. I feel a lot of gratitude that, because when I am very passionate about health in general, that this is the best property that we own in our lifetime, and if we are taking care of this property, we will be able to take care of other properties. And I'm glad that he's seeing life that way as well. And so I'm not going to take too much time away from him. One quick question for you is from last week's session. We learned about, it was a follow-up from Sheila in terms of health. And we did talk about chronic inflammation, because, everything that he's going to talk about is also going to impact your body fire level, which is inflammation level. Because nutrition leads to either high inflammation or it leads to low inflammation. And then also nutrition leads to either good gut health or poor gut health. And microbiome that we talked about last week was the third piece, right? So those three things are kind of byproduct. Health of those three things is byproduct of what he's going to talk about today. So Sahib, do you have the updated version here? You emailed it to me? Okay. Yeah. So you can open it up here, right? I can. Yeah. Okay. So.
Good morning, everyone.
Very good morning.
Very good morning.
Good morning.
Very good morning.
Sorry, just in the house. Great. This works.
And in the meantime, while he's doing his PPT sharing, he's done. He's lost. Okay. Yeah. And so on those three things that I know zero sugar challenge was there. Your progress in the last 7 days.
Okay.
So you're sharing this screen or that one? So you can
He
close.
is sharing this screen. All right.
No changes required.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
Are you sharing this screen? The camera is there if you want to, if you can share that screen to the right.
Okay,
Let me help you.
Let's go.
Stop sharing.
Hello.
Stop sharing.
No, that's it. Works.
Okay. You guys see the presentation?
Yes, Sunny, we can see.
Yes, Sunny, we can see.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
Good.
Awesome.
You're in business.
All right. So today I'm here to talk about the best practices to lose weight, not just for yourself, but also for your body, and different strategies, I guess, that we can use that are scientifically based and were personally tested by me, as I personally also went through my own weight loss journey. And so I'm here to convey what I thought worked the best to everyone here today.
So I think do a little bit more justice to that story.
Okay.
So from like where you started and where you are today.
Yeah.
And cross country.
Yeah. So I'll talk a little bit, I guess. Yeah. I guess now I'm a senior in nutritional sciences. I'm dietetics courses to become a dietitian. And I'm also involved in nutritional science research groups over at Cornell that are involved in like the latest research in obesity and the various strategies that we can use to counter the obesity epidemic. And then I guess, as Dad just mentioned, I myself used to struggle with my weight throughout my whole life. And it wasn't really until like my sophomore, junior year of high school when I got last place in cross country that I really decided that it was time to make change. And so I started experimenting with different diets, and I really failed at first. And so I got to really learn what worked, what didn't work. And I got sort of into like the scientific literature about why, what I was doing was working, and, like how I could best improve what I was doing. And so that's how I got into nutrition in the first place. That's how I went into nutrition major. And that's where I am today now. So I hope you guys enjoy the content from today. So I guess first, what I would like to talk about is one, why does our body lose weight? How does it lose weight? Two, how can we drive weight loss? So like, what are strategies and lifestyle changes that we can make to, lose weight? What about exercise? How does exercise play into all this, and how can we use it as a tool? And lastly, I'll go over a few common dieting myths that are really popular on social media, but really have no scientific basis. So I guess first, how does weight loss work? So our body really uses calories. That is the unit of measurement that we use for energy, but really that is just the energy that is within a food. Our body burns calories every day. And this is just known as our metabolism. We burn them to maintain your body, to move around, to digest food, for pretty much all bodily functions. And everybody's metabolism is different. Not everyone's metabolism is 2,000 calories. It's dependent on your age, weight, your how much muscle mass you have, genetic factors. Many factors play into a person's metabolism. And so as you can see here, this is a general breakdown of what's included in your metabolism. You have what you need for your body to maintain itself, the energy you spend just moving around and exercising all day, and also a little bit of calories also burnt to digest food, around 100 to 200 calories a day. And that's just what we burn, just trying to break down the food that we eat. And really the crucial part about weight loss is your calorie balance, you could call it almost. So you could almost think of it as like a scale, as I have shown here. So how many calories you intake, right? We'll tip the scale in one way. And if you tip it that way, whatever excess energy is left over that you didn't burn off will be stored as fat when you sleep or throughout the day, right? But now if you expend more, so let's say you went for a run or something and you didn't eat as much that day, the extra energy that you spent running or will be taken away from your fat then, and that is essentially what weight loss is. You want to be spending more calories than you're eating by the end of the day, regardless of the diet you take. This is really the core driver of weight loss. Or really, when I mention weight loss, I mean fat loss, because that is really what I think everyone coins as the term. So I guess we're going to do a quick little activity first. How many calories do any of you think you burn in a day? Do any of you know, maybe a guess that you might have? Obviously, it's very person specific, but and so these are just some guidelines that the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Health Services has put out. So obviously, it is different for males and females, and depending on your age range, but it can range from anywhere to 1,800 calories for like a 30-year-old female, maybe, to 3,000 calories for maybe a much larger male in his younger 20s, maybe. So, and this is a quick little breakdown of what you want your calories to come from for carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. But these are just general guidelines to follow. However, since these are general guidelines, right, how can we find how many calories that we specifically need? It is very difficult because, right, you just follow those 2,000 calories, and it's not very easy to find out what you yourself would have to eat in a day. So this is a lot of words on this slide, but it is essentially a scientifically based equation called the Mifflin-St. Jeor equation. And essentially it is used to find every person's own metabolism. And so it'll tell you essentially how many calories you burn every single day. All you have to put in is your weight, your height, your age, and then whatever you get after doing all that math, you just multiply times how active you are, right? So if you're just at a desk job every day, you're considered sedentary. If let's say you exercise, you go for walks every day, you might be lightly active. And then if you're very physical in the gym and you're in a physical job, you can go higher up to moderately or very active. Obviously, I don't expect all you guys to calculate all this right now. So, but this is a quick little example of how it would be. If you guys want to, we could take 2 or 3 minutes for everyone if you want to try calculating your own. I also have this website that is at the bottom. But you could also use this as well and you just input your weight and everything, and it'll automatically do all the math for you. And it'll really just tell you how many calories you burn in a day. And this is really crucial.
It will be a fun exercise if we can take a quick pause, and team Gayatri, if we can post this link in the chat, and everyone can take a minute to really put in. I think there are 3 to 4 numbers that you have to put in that calculator, and you will get to know exactly your calories.
Yeah. So maybe just take a minute to put in your weight in pounds, your height, and your age, and really sort of judge yourself. Maybe be like a little harsher on your physical activity, because like the cutoff for lightly active is surprisingly very high. Actually, like it's considered somebody who walks for 30 to 40 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week. Or if you're in the gym, 2 to 3 times a week, that also will consider you as lightly active. But I think a lot of people would be very surprised by what their metabolism really is, just because it is very different from what you're commonly told by the media. So I guess I'll go through what my dad had. So I went through with my dad yesterday and got to see what his basal metabolic rate was. So Dad weighs 170 pounds, he's 71 inches, and he's 47. So I put those into the little equation. And his resting, so if he was a couch potato all day, he didn't move at all, my dad would burn 1,700 calories almost every day, 69 calories. Then if my dad actually was moving that day and he wasn't just in bed all day, right? So that's where we get the 1.375 that we multiplied it from. Overall, my dad needs around 2,300 calories a day to maintain his weight. If he eats below that, he's going to lose weight that day. And if he eats above that, he's going to gain weight that day. Very general basic guidelines, but please do take a minute to try to calculate your own.
Are we done, or do we need another 30 seconds, guys?
Yeah, give us another 30 seconds, Sunny.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lost his line.
Sahib, long weekends coming up, and we should not have chosen this topic, right?
Yeah, maybe you guys can hold it off for this long weekend and then go into next week with the battle plan after
Right.
this.
But no, good stuff. Thank you. Thank you for compiling this. Wow, I'm way off track, man.
It can be very surprising the first time you see your like actual metabolism, because I think a lot of times people will just like follow what they see on social media, and it says, oh, eat 1,500 calories a day. That is the equivalent of like what an infant would eat, right? So like obviously that is not what we should be eating. And a lot of times if you eat too little calories, actually what happens is your metabolism will crank down because your body thinks it's going into starvation mode. And so really you're hurting your progress overall, because 1, you're cutting food way too much out of your diet. 2, you're cutting your metabolism down as well. So now you're gonna have to eat even less to lose the same amount of weight. And it's not sustainable. It's not going to last. It might last for like maybe a month or 2, but it's not going to be a routine that you can maintain for a long time. And if you really want to lose some serious weight, then you need to find something that's sustainable and you can stay consistent with. So yeah, obviously calculating it will just help you, give you a good ballpark for what to aim for.
Got it.
Okay, so I think we're good, Sahib. We can move ahead.
So I guess after calculating that, right, if you want to burn more calories, really, you need to expend more, right? So you can go for walks, go to the gym, right? And also build muscle, right? Because building muscle will increase that BMR as well. And at the end of the day, if the calories you consumed is equal to the calories lost, that is means your body weight will be maintained that day. If it does change, it's most likely going to be water weight. And that's not something that you need to be too worried about. And ideally for weight loss, you want to be in around the 300 to 500 calorie deficit. Anything below 500 calories will just be detrimental to your own metabolism. And so then essentially the next day, or as you keep continue that diet, your metabolism is going to lower. You're going to have to eat even less calories, and it's not going to be a sustainable, at least routine in the long run. So yes, 300 to 500 calorie deficit is ideal for weight loss. So obviously that was a lot of stuff I just threw at everyone. So what are some changes that we personally can make, right, to lose weight? So I guess the driving forces for weight loss are dieting, obviously, controlling your intake, exercise, because this is the only way really to increase how many calories you burn, and the muscle you have, and increasing your muscle will increase your metabolism. So obviously that is very important. And really the most important one is consistency. It doesn't matter what you're doing with your diet or what exercise you're doing. If you cheat on it once or twice a week, it'll be very difficult then to find long-term results. You need to really ensure that you're staying consistent with it, and you keep yourself accountable every single day. So I guess dieting accounts for really majority of what your weight loss ends up becoming. Exercise does play obviously a role in it, but it doesn't really matter if your diet is not in line with your exercise. So and really choosing the right foods, right? Very highly processed foods will have a lot more calories than less processed foods. And even if they're 100 calories from a burger or 100 calories from fruit, they're not the same, because the burger 100 calories might just be 1 or 2 bites, whereas 100 calories of fruit would be 2 whole bowls, which would really fill you up. So that really shows you your food choices are really crucial to starting this change. So really what I would recommend is structure your day to your own needs, right? Everyone here is very busy. It's ITBD, right? So you should go into every single day with a battle plan of, what, like where you're going to eat, what you're going to eat, and how you can best make your life easier to still also fit your, dietary goals. So maybe if you know that you're not really a breakfast person, but you really like a heavy lunch or dinner, maybe like eat a little bit lighter, right? Maybe just have a little bit of fruit maybe for breakfast. Like eat out at night, right? Maybe save a little more calories during your breakfast and lunch so that you have more calories to splurge a little bit on dinner. Because overall, what it matters is like the total daily calorie intake, right? If you know that like you're going to be at home and you meal prepped, and so you have like a nice healthy meal ready at home, maybe you can eat a little bit more for breakfast and lunch, enjoy yourself, go out for lunch while you're at work. But yeah, essentially just have a plan, right? If you go into your day not knowing what you're going to eat, it's very easy to say, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to go eat out. And then you end up really messing up your dietary goals, and you think, oh, I'll fix it tomorrow. And it really just becomes a cycle where you end up breaking it once or twice a week. And then you wonder why it's very hard to see consistent results. And it's really just because you're not going into every day with a battle plan. Secondly, this one's a little more difficult. Track your meals. This is really what allowed me to really lose weight. And I never really saw consistent results until I started tracking. It's very daunting at first to download apps like MyFitnessPal. I'm gonna have to scan every single thing, but really you might almost find it satisfying at times, just because once you do get a groove of it, you know how to account for your breakfast, your lunch, and like, oh, I want to save calories for dinner, I want to have like pizza tonight or something, right? And so that like, hey, like I don't need to feel guilty about eating foods that I enjoy myself because I planned it into my day. It doesn't really matter how good of a diet you have if it's not sustainable. You need to make sure you're including foods that you enjoy and a lifestyle that you yourself can actually maintain and still and happily live life with. So really MyFitnessPal helped me do that. So I could always include my cheat meals, I would consider them, or cheat foods, but in reality, I'd still lose weight that day just because I planned for it, I tracked it, and I made sure I still hit all my calorie goals for that day. Right. And if we get into tracking a little bit, macronutrients are essentially the breakdown, like the composition of your foods and how your body will break them down. Ideally, you would want 55 to 60% of your calories coming from carbs. That is just to fuel your workouts and fuel your day. 20% of your calories coming from fat. This is just for health reasons, for hormonal reasons, and you'd like to keep that a little bit lower just to prevent stuff like heart disease and hypertension and all these other adverse health outcomes. And lastly, 20 to 25% of your calories should be coming from protein. This is to support muscle growth and just to support your bodily functions. And also protein is much more filling than other types of foods. So eating protein will help fill you up more, make you eat less, and help drive that weight loss. You could put all this into your MyFitnessPal. You don't have to do all this math on your own. If you download any of these tracking apps, it'll let you choose how many % of your calories you want from each. It's very simple. But obviously, once again, this is a lot, right? Tracking is very daunting. You're not used to having to watch every single bite you have with all this scrutiny. So what are some smaller steps that we can take and build up slowly to the overall goal of tracking and consistency? Yeah. So firstly, I know this might be tough, but cut out fast foods. They are extremely processed. They are calorically dense. For this, as I mentioned earlier, 100 calories of a burger might just be 2 bites, while 100 calories of fruit might be 1 or 2 huge bowls, right? So they're not the same, even though calorically they are the same. They're volume-wise. The fast food is much less filling for the amount of calories you're getting. They have a lot more fat and carbs than they do other healthy nutrients. There's also no vitamins in them almost, just because they've been stripped out of it. So overall for your health, it is not really supporting your weight loss goals. Although I'm not saying to fully cut them out, try to really limit your consumption of them. And if you can account for them for the day, then that's totally fine. It's okay to have an occasional burger as long as you account for it in your day. Right. So as I said earlier, maybe eat lighter in breakfast, lunch, and then you can splurge a little bit at dinner. And it might seem easy to go for fast food just because, you know, it's available, it's there. But overall, that's why you need to go into your day with a battle plan, is because you need to think about your health. And really, if you want to see consistent weight loss, this is a crucial one to follow. But second, drink water. A lot of people do not drink enough water throughout the day. And it really shows, one, through their energy, through their health, through their metabolism, and also just through their own through their own weight loss. It also plays a very crucial role. Cut out sodas and juices from your diet. These have a ton of added sugars that add very little nutritional value. And a lot of times you can end up cutting up to 800 to 900 calories out of your diet a day just by cutting out juices and sodas and only drinking water. And one that'll let you eat a lot more nutritious food, that'll let you fill yourself up more in your meals, and you'll find your day a lot more enjoyable and high energy if you just drink more water. I know that the U.S. Department of Health recommends 8 cups of water a day. I would say go even above that. Really, 10 to 12 cups a day is awesome. It's daunting, but honestly, just fill up a water bottle in the morning and drink it. If you fill that water bottle up 3-4 times, maybe 3 times throughout a day, you'll easily hit your water goals. You'll fill yourself up before meals. You will have way more energy throughout the day. Your skin will look better. Your blood work will look much better. Everything really will improve. Just drink water. Also, I know everybody enjoys the occasional glass of wine, but try to limit your alcohol consumption. It is very high in calories, and these are hidden calories that people don't recognize usually, but a single shot is like 100 calories almost. If you go to like any sort of seltzer or anything, then there's also sugar in those as well, and that'll add up even more. So then you'll get that beer belly. And that's usually because of how many calories are actually considered in beer. That's why they call it beer belly. But also it makes your liver pause its breakdown of nutrients and focus on breaking down the alcohol. So now your bodily functions are shutting down really a little bit while you're drinking. So overall, try to limit how much alcohol you're consuming just for your health and also for your weight loss goals. It'll really go a long way. And these are just some more strategies, right? Eat foods that will fill you up. Really, if every single meal you can add a few key food groups, you'll find that your meals are much more filling. There are much less calories in those meals, and you'll find your diet much more enjoyable. So one, eat more fruits and veggies with every meal. These give you vitamins, they're low in calories, they're high in fiber, and they're very filling. So you end up eating a lot less of the other foods that you have while also improving your own health. Secondly, add in more fiber. This can be through a fiber supplement, through eating whole grains, unprocessed starches, legumes, more vegetables and fruits. But fiber is a very filling nutrient. Your stomach can't break it down, so it ends up filling up your intestines a lot more, and it sends neurochemicals that essentially send your body to stop eating more just because they're taking up a lot more space. So include more fiber with every meal, and you'll find your meals to be much more filling. That's another reason why fast food isn't very filling, is because it has no fiber. That's just a side note. Thirdly, add more protein. Add a protein with every single meal, whether that be legumes, eggs, some sort of meat, whatever. Protein is also a very filling nutrient. It is very low in calories, depending on obviously the type of meat you have, but and it's also, protein itself is just a very filling nutrient that will fill you up a lot more during your meals. And lastly, volume eating. Choose foods that have tons of volume for the amount of calories that you're consuming. Stuff like this is like popcorn, soup, once again, whole grains, and leafy vegetables like kale, spinach, salads. But those are very filling for the amount of calories they have, and they're key tools that you can use in weight loss. Right. Another thing is, how does exercise play into all this? Well, one, exercise will burn calories. It'll help you increase how many calories you're burning in the day, so you can obviously eat more. Two, it'll increase your muscle mass. So by building more muscle, you're increasing your metabolism. Muscle is a very costly tissue for your body to maintain. And so by building up more and more muscle mass, you can, one, burn more calories in your sleep. You'll be more mobile. It's also another way of like progress to see other than the weight on the scale. So it'll help you stay consistent. It'll motivate you. Like I think The Rock, who is like obviously huge, he burns 3,000 calories a day just by sitting on the couch. He doesn't even have to move and he burns 3,000 calories. So that just shows you how much muscle can really improve your metabolism. Also, exercise will decrease your risk of adverse health outcomes such as heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, almost a lot of diseases really. And this is just because exercise plays a lot of key role in a lot of signals that you're usually not used in our like normal American lifestyles nowadays. And also it'll help your diet longevity just because it'll keep you consistent and keep you motivated. And as I said earlier, yes, exercise will increase your motivation. It is a lot of times it is very demotivating to see the scale not go down after you thought you were on top of your diet that day. And it really is not, it doesn't want to make you stay on it. So really seeing progress aside from the scale, such as like in the gym with your weights, with your like physically aesthetics, and seeing like all your lifts go up is another sign of progress. So you know that what you're doing is working. And really it's just more and more rewards to make you want to keep going in your own head. So there's two different types of exercise that you can use, aerobic and resistance training. Aerobic exercise is anything that's endurance focused really. So like walking, hiking, running, biking, HIIT exercise, high intensity interval training, you name it, anything that's really going for like a long term without you resting is considered aerobic exercise. It's awesome for burning fat. It keeps your heart rate elevated for a long period of time. So your body will break down a lot of its fat stores in order to fuel that. And also it is a very enjoyable exercise that you can make it, like whether through sports or, just walking around with your family. It is something that you can do it together with a bunch of people. And that alone will also keep you very consistent. Secondly, the other type of training, which I would also recommend including into your program, I guess, is resistance training. This is anything where your muscle is trained to lift a certain amount of strength. So an example is lifting weights in the gym. There's other forms of resistance training as well, like swimming and stuff. But lifting weights in the gym is really the key one that everyone knows. This will train your muscle to not only produce more strength, but also this will build a lot more muscle than aerobic exercise will. So including resistance training will help you build up your metabolism, as I said earlier, and burn more calories really in your sleep. And a lot of times people want to lose weight for aesthetic reasons. And a lot of times if you're looking for like that tone, it is not you losing fat is not really going to help with that. You need to be building muscle as well in order to get that maybe like physique you were looking for, or like, that summer bod. But yeah. So include both of these in your regime. But at the end of the day, really choose the type of exercise that you enjoy the most. It doesn't matter if how good your regime is if you can't stay consistent on it, once again. So really choose exercise that you find enjoyable, that you think that you can maintain on a regular basis, or maybe something that your friends enjoy doing with you, just because this will keep you accountable. It'll make you want to go and exercise. And once again, it'll help you stay with your diet motivation and play all types of positive benefits. And I guess lastly, now we'll go over some dieting and fitness myths. So one, people believe that lifting weights might make you too big or stunt your growth, or maybe make you shorter. I've heard countless excuses like this, but really it is extremely difficult to become too big. It's like saying you'll become a millionaire by accident. The people that you see who are very large or working out a ton, they have pretty much spent 2 to 3 hours in the gym every day. Their diet is very meticulous. They are on top of every single thing that they're eating, and they do this literally for a career. Build muscle. It is a very hard process. And if you see that bodybuilder, he has put countless work into it. And it's very like, you will end up making a lot less muscle gains than you would think you would, just by starting even for a year or two. And you'll realize how hard it really is to become too big. If you ever do feel like you are getting too burly, you can always just stop and just go focus on aerobic exercise. So it's not like you're like gonna keep on building muscle even when you stop, right? So really I'd recommend giving resistance training a try building that muscle. I can promise you it'll end up giving you a lot more positive benefits than you would expect, and a lot of people really fall in love with it because they realize how good of a tool it is to incorporate into their arsenal. Also, another thing is lifting will not make you shorter. It will not stunt growth if you're talking to your kids or anything. If anything, it will strengthen your bones. It shows your bones that you are putting more load onto them and they need to strengthen themselves to support that load. So it'll really just make your bones stronger, if anything. And it'll help you remain active way later into your life as you age. And so really lifting weights is crucial to any like aging longevity program. It's just because it'll help maintain that bone strength. It'll prevent falls. It'll prevent you from having any fractures or anything and keep you mobile really late into your life. Another myth is keto, intermittent fasting, paleo, veganism, you name it, are better for losing weight. No diet program is inherently better for losing weight. They all still follow that same law of thermodynamics, that you must be intaking less calories than you are expending. And these are all really just tools that you can use to make that calorie deficit into fruition. So like, for instance, keto, some people believe you'll lose weight much faster, but in reality, it's usually water weight that they're losing at the initial stages. And so you're not really losing fat. It's just but the scale goes down, so it makes them happy and they think they're losing weight faster. But I'm not putting down any of these diets. Some of these have their own purposes aside from weight loss, and they are really great tools to use. So please do use whatever works best for you, whatever you find you can adhere to. But at the end of the day, what I would really like to say is, if the diet is too restrictive, then it won't last. So if you're cutting out foods that are very difficult for you to live without, then it is not going to really, you're not going to be able to maintain it. You're not going to be able to keep it going. And then you're not going to see consistent results at all. So really choose a diet that you know you'll be able to stick to, that you can stay consistent with, and that you find enjoyable yourself. Lastly, dieting is painful, and you're going to find this painful. It is not. At first, it can seem very daunting. You're taking so many steps for your health, but it should be a very fulfilling journey. It is you finally committing to improving yourself and improving your own body, and showing that what you imagine to be like, what your dream look would be like, into fruition. It doesn't have to stay a dream. You can get that summer body. You can lose that weight that has been stuck on you for your whole life, right? It is possible and it is easy. You just need to stay consistent with it, and you need to use the right tools. So really, once again, choose the methods that work best for you, that you yourself can find enjoyable. But at the end of the day, they are driven by those same key factors of a calorie deficit. So really structure your day with a battle plan, and make sure that you can really adhere to your diet. I guess that is my key, points I want to talk about. Key takeaways I would really say is stay consistent with your diet and exercise. Drink water, cut out fast foods, choose a diet that works for you and you will find enjoyable, because that will let you stay consistent. And lastly, enjoy the journey. It is a journey you're meant to, you're doing for yourself. You want to look better for yourself. You're only doing it for yourself. So find something that you enjoy. Don't make you hate yourself just over this diet, and make it a journey that you can remember. So yeah, that is my talk. If anybody has any questions, I'd be very glad to answer some.
Sahib, I have a question. First of all, thank you so much for doing this for us. You've taken out time, and I'm sure a person like you has a very active social life, but you took out an hour for us. Thank you very much. But although I'm off drinks, I'm not drinking, but I heard that tequila has negative calories. Is that true?
No, tequila does not have negative calories. It is people might think that like your weight goes down after you drink, but in reality, if the scale does go down after you drink, it is very much so water loss, just because you lost a lot of water that night. So that's why the scale will go down. But I can promise you, tequila does not have negative calories. A tequila shot has 100 to 120 calories per shot. It is variable, people will say, just because it depends on how active your liver is. If you're drinking a ton, your liver is going to be shutting down a little bit. So it's not going to be able to process each shot as equally. But if you're only drinking a little bit, then yeah, each tequila shot will add to your calorie count. It will add 100 to 120 calories. So no, there are no negative calories. But I mean, obviously, limit the consumption, but I'm not saying cut them out fully. Just account for them, I guess.
Thank you.
Hey, Sahib, question. What are your thoughts on doing short-term reduced carbs? Doing going heavy protein, the keto diet,
Yeah.
if you, I find myself getting stuck at certain levels where I have to cut my carbs way back, kind of breakthrough.
Yeah, so keto is another tool that a lot of people use. They say it for a lot of other reasons as well, like longevity as well. But a lot of times that cutting carbs, once again, it will reduce the amount of carbs that you have stored in your muscle. And so you lose a lot of water with that as well. So if that scale is really plummeting those first few days of cutting carbs, a good majority, that's going to be water loss usually. It's not mostly fat loss. So if it's a tool that works for you, go for it. But if you're doing it solely for the weight loss, it is not really like the best tool. I find it personally to be very restrictive, just because carbs are literally like surrounded around you throughout all of life. And if you're a normal human being who's walking around, it's very hard to find keto adhering places where they're serving food. And really, yeah, like I personally love carbs. They fuel your workouts. They are really crucial to fueling your exercise for the day and your energy. But if keto works for you, feel free to stick to it. But if it's any way superior to weight loss, it's not. It's really just water loss usually in the beginning that you're getting. Longevity, there's research backing that as well. But if purely from a weight loss perspective, it's not any better. No.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Sahib, I have one question. So I was taking diet from a good dietitian, and she said that we can have a 1 day cheat day and can have anything in that cheat day. So that has not impacted much on my weight control part. So how it works? Because if a dietitian saying that you can have a cheat day and can have anything that day, once in a week, how that works?
So that's a strategy that a lot of people used to use. I personally also used to use it, and I found it to be one of the most detrimental things I ever did, really, just because let's just say you have a 300 calorie deficit every day for 6 of the days of your week. You lost 1,800 calories worth of fat throughout that whole week. Wonderful. Awesome. You almost lost a full pound of fat. That's great for your week. Now, that one cheat day that you have, you end up eating 5,000 calories. You had a whole pint of ice cream or something, right? Or you had this gigantic meal. You're now in a 3,000 calorie surplus. So, and your body is not going to waste most of that. It's going to store most of that. So now you've gone from your weekly 1,800 calorie deficit to now week net, you've now gained 1,500 calories worth of fat now. So I personally am not a very big advocate of cheat days anymore. If you are going to include something cheat, you could say I would include a cheat meal. In one sitting, right? Enjoy yourself, have like a pasta or pizza, whatever, right? Just don't make it a whole day. It's very easy to overeat throughout the whole day. And then you ruin your whole week's progress. And it'll really set you back when it comes to that consistency portion. But obviously I understand diets can be very restrictive. So honestly, if you want to incorporate that, stick it to a cheat meal. It's much easier to manage, much easier to account for. And your diet will still stay, I say, the same consistency. I found cheat meals to be much more fulfilling. It gave me that like satisfaction of, oh, I got to eat the foods I want to eat. And then it helped me stay a lot more consistent throughout the next week.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
No problem.
I have one question. This is Tavleen. Thank you for the insights. How much sleeping patterns contribute to your overall weight loss journey or any kind of plans you're following, consciously?
Yeah. So there's been a lot of meta-analyses done on sleep and weight loss. They find that people who sleep the most actually lose the most weight. That can be for a variety of reasons, really. One, sleeping your full 7 to 9 hours will support your metabolism. It'll keep your metabolism at full throttle. Your body's ready to really go on with the day. Another way it plays into it is if you sleep more, you're awake for less time of the day. So you're awake less to eat, right? So you're not awake as long throughout the day. So you're not going to eat as much. And overall sleep is really crucial to recovery, to enjoyment throughout the day. Your dopamine levels throughout the day are also very much so affected by your sleep. And so really, if you're sleeping properly, you're going to wake up in the morning in a much better mood, a lot less hungry as well. You're not going to be awake as long as the day to eat. And also you'll be fully recovered and have full energy. So you're going to be less likely to eat due to stress or eat due to you being exhausted, right? That is a coping mechanism a lot of people use often. So really, yeah, sleep is really crucial to it as well. If you're only getting 5 hours or 6 hours of sleep a night, you're going to find you're going to eat more. Your cortisol levels will be much higher. So you're just going to cope with it through eating. You'll be awake longer. So you might get munchies at night or, eat a ton in the morning. So overall, sleep is really important. Try to get your 7 to 9 hours every night. And you'll find it plays a big role in your weight loss.
And how about the timing of the diet? For example, people following different shifts. The timings is something which we all talk about, not having much calories after 7 p.m. and all of that. We start our day around that time of 5 o'clock in the evening from India. So, how do you think we should make alterations to what we eat, how we eat, and when we eat? Any insights to that?
Yeah. So a big thing that people usually say is don't eat before you sleep. This is very much so, like, there's not much scientific basis behind that when it comes to weight loss, at least, just because your body treats calories the exact same, whether you eat them in the morning or night. If anything, it may interrupt your quality of sleep a little bit if you're eating a gigantic meal before you sleep, just because your body's going to divert a lot of energy towards digestion and not as much towards recovery. But as long as the meal is like 1 to 2 hours out from your sleeping time, it really shouldn't impact it too much. You're not going to gain extra weight just because you ate before you slept. It's not how your body works. It's not gonna absorb extra calories from it somehow. And so really overall, the timing is obviously crucial, but choose timing that works best for you. If you are not hungry in the morning, don't feel like you're forced to eat in the morning, right? Wait until you're hungry. Your body is an awesome signal for when it needs food, right? And if you've made like a habit of always eating breakfast, you're gonna find yourself getting hungry during that time. But if you can skip it, skip it. And yeah, don't worry too much about eating like, maybe 2 to 3 hours before your sleep. You're not going to gain extra weight. It's not going to impact you like that, but it can affect your sleep if you're eating like less than an hour before your bed or something. And so that obviously could have alternate effects on your diet as well if you're not sleeping properly. But at least when it comes to purely the timing, it won't make you gain extra weight. No.
Thank you.
Okay, more questions?
Yeah, if there's any more questions, please feel free to ask.
Something I wanted to highlight earlier, you said it doesn't really matter how much exercise you do. If you're not eating right, it won't really work. And I wanted to bring that out. I had a similar experience in my life. I used to be very overweight when I was younger, and I started doing extreme workouts and try to do CrossFit training. And no matter what I did, it just didn't seem to work because I was eating too many honey buns, eating McDonald's. And for me, that was the most pivotal point in my journey. And I wanted to ask how important, how much of a role that played in your journey. For me, that was over 90% of it,
Yeah, I think for me, I could say the same thing, actually, really over 90%. I was gotten to work out much earlier than I did focusing on my diet. And I also never knew why I wasn't losing weight. Like the scale would never go down. Like I saw some progress in the gym, but overall, like I couldn't lose that stubborn fat that I really was wondering why I couldn't get off. It's because of my diet. I had hidden calories. I was eating unhealthy dinners maybe, or eating too much at breakfast. And overall, it's because I wasn't watching my intake and watching the foods I was putting in my body. Why I never really saw progress. Second, I started tracking, including vitamins, like fruits, veggies, fiber, tracking my calories, is when I really saw consistent results, just because I didn't really realize the importance of diet until then. And so, yeah, Kyle, that was like such a great point. Really, it's all about dieting, really. It doesn't matter the workouts you do if you don't fuel your body properly. At the end of the day, weight loss is not driven by exercise, it's driven by dieting and your intake. So yeah, dieting is 100% like the key driving factor behind this. You cannot outwork a bad diet no matter what you do. Yeah.
He didn't listen to that advice, Kyle, until he was in the 8th grade. Like McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, all those fast food places. And we are at this cross country in Monroe, New Jersey. And I'm like, proud father standing there that I'm waiting for Sahib to come. And everyone came and he didn't, like I keep waiting and waiting and waiting. And then he's like, probably he was the second last person.
That was.
And I think in life, you always have to probably hit, rock bottom to start bouncing back. And after that, I didn't have to even ask him once, because he somehow, he kind of really committed to that transformation. And I remember after his 8th grade, he is the leader of health at home, because sometimes Cam will not listen to me when she brings in stuff and put it in the fridge and our closet, all the snacks and stuff. But then he's like forcing all of us to kind of make sure that
our own references here, Sensor.
yeah, he's forcing us, all of us, to make sure that we bring in anything that we bring home. Our kitchen is healthy.
Exactly. A big thing is like if you don't keep good foods in your pantry, it'll be very easy to fall to temptation and eat that cookie that you have in there, right? Or eat any sort of sweets or temptations you might have there. So a really crucial thing is making sure your home is also stocked with foods that you would want yourself eating. So maybe eat a meal before you go grocery shopping. That way that you're not thinking with your hungry mind, you're thinking with your health mind. And yeah, go to grocery store and plan ahead, right? Only include foods that you know you would like be okay with yourself eating. I'm not saying like obviously it's okay to include a little bit of treats, but just don't overstock your own home with temptations.
And let's be honest, when you eat real foods, you get to eat more food. So I'm on my I told you guys last week that I'm using RP diet right now, getting ready for Build It, but let me just show you what I have to eat for breakfast. And I'm on the fat loss program. How do I switch my camera around? Here we go. Look at all this food I have to eat. Eggs and rice cakes, sausage, and bananas and grapes. That's a lot of food. But when you eat the real stuff, you get to eat a lot of food. So it's just better that way anyway.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Like literally just eating unprocessed foods, you'll find there's so much more volume to it, and you will find yourself stuffed on way less calories than you ever could have imagined. Like right now with Tiffany, that entire plate is probably equivalent to like one burger from McDonald's, maybe a burger and a half, right? And like you would not be nearly as full as you would be if you had that whole plate of food. And also that's much more healthier for you to have those unprocessed foods because you have more micronutrients, you have more fiber, more protein. Really overall, everything is just better. So yeah, do try to stick to the unprocessed foods as much as possible, whole grains.
So Sahib, I have a question. Well, now you're very disciplined, committed, very high level of willpower you have. But there are a lot of people where their journey is where you probably started, right? Where you probably didn't believe in yourself that, oh, you can lose and you can look like this, right?
Yeah.
And it was a constant struggle for you. And at that time, your overall emotional level is very different.
Yeah.
So what is your advice for those where they really are, they have burning desire to start that journey, but they don't have that self-confidence that they can make it?
Really, it's one, I'd say the biggest thing is obviously accountability, right? When you're going into this journey. So there's multiple ways you can keep yourself accountable. One is through stocking your pantry, as I'd mentioned earlier, right? Think with your health mind, not your hungry mind. And always just fill really like, the foods you would want yourself eating into your pantry. That might also be very difficult. So what really helped me personally was finding a partner, someone to go through this journey with me, because one, I would keep them accountable. They'd keep me accountable. And so whether that be like going to the gym together or going on runs together, I had somebody who would always, be with me for this like painful journey almost at first, what I thought it was. And it turned into a very joyful thing. It was like time I spent with them eventually. It was something that we were both improving on together. And then when you get home, you're like, oh, I need to be eating better. I need like if my friend is also, trying their best to, improve on what we're doing, I also like should probably make smarter or healthier decisions about what I'm eating. And so really, yeah, finding a partner is what really helped me personally. Somebody to work out with me, because that motivated me outside of the gym and really had a lot more systemic effects than I ever could have imagined. And yeah, obviously also stocking your house properly, planning ahead. Those are also really big tools I used.
Accountability partner. So find someone where they have that, you guys have shared common sense of purpose, health purpose. And I know from last week, I was looking at people where they took last 2 sessions very seriously. One is Tina. Do we have Tina on the call? We have.
Yes, Sunny, I am.
Yeah. So Tina, who is your accountability partner? I know you and Demi, and a lot of people like supporting each other. It's really good to see that people are teaming up and they are kind of recognizing each other for taking those progress steps.
Yeah. So my accountability partner is Jyoti, and we are on a strict clean diet. It's been a week. I haven't had I would say a little bit of sugar, and I'm on fruits and everything, green tea, everything. And thanks to
Yes.
you, Sunny sir. Thanks to you. It's all because of you. It's been
Yes.
years I've been trying this, but from past 1 month I was like, no, now I have to do it, and I've done it. And just to I've reduced 1 kg in 7 days, so I'm happy.
Very nice.
Congratulations. Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
that's so awesome. Yeah. So who else wants to share some of your experiences, this health journey, or ask questions if you have any for Sahib first. Questions for Sahib, or anything, any experiences, your health journey experiences that you want to share.
Mod, if you have
Oh, we have questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Adil, go ahead, please.
So, Sam, thank you so much for addressing all of us with that kind of issue and topic that I can personally relate myself to. So in 2005, I had a dreadful accident and I took a long time to recover and come over with the situation I was facing. I developed kind of personality that wasn't acceptable for anyone in the society. So I had to get myself routed to this weight loss program. I was following up small intake of food at times, and I also took some medicines, right, the fat burners, that helped me instantly over the time. I reduced a lot, and after that, I had a medical issue again to deal with. Then during the lockdown, I put on a lot, like drastically. It bounced back like anything on me. So what is that? Can you just share some thoughts on that for me?
What the
So,
question you heard?
yeah. So I guess you're asking about rebound weight gain, right? Is like,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like you have a very strict diet, you'll adhere to it, you'll see some really good results. And then it's really easy to just fall back into how you used to be and then right gain that back. I personally had that really often as well. And really the biggest things is I guess finding things that are enjoyable. If it's your diet is too restrictive, right? So yeah, you can maintain it, you can see some serious results really fast, just because it's easy to keep that motivation short term, right? But you need to find a plan that is long term, something that you can enjoy, something that you can keep sustainable for like a really long time. And those really restrictive diets are just not sustainable at all. You're eating like generally they'll put you on calories that like an infant would need almost, right? And you're like everyone here is like full grown adults, right? Like you need a lot more calories than that. So you need to find one diet that where you're eating enough calories that you're actually able to support your body. Two, you need to make sure that it's something that you can include enjoyable foods into your diet. Make sure that you are actually able to like look forward to eating every day and not like think of it as like a chore almost. And then yeah, also not making it too restrictive, right? Like ease up on yourself a little bit once in a while. It's okay to have like a small cheat meal once in a week, as was said earlier, right? Obviously try to keep it small, but like overall, you need to find something that you can enjoy and actually stick with. It doesn't matter how much weight you lose at first. If you just gain it right back a few months later, when you lose this weight, you want to make it stay off. You don't want it to come back. So you need to find a diet that you can maintain, that fits with your lifestyle, and that fits around your whole routine. Really, you need to make it a part of your daily routine. Also, I know you also mentioned this fat burners. And fat burners are generally a big scam. Really, they're like their purities usually really suck. The ingredients they use don't really have much scientific basis behind them, and they don't usually work. Like meta-analysis I've tried, like tested hundreds of fat burners and only found like 2 of them to really have like some effects. So really, yeah, fat burners also don't waste your time on like a lot of those supplements. A lot of times those are just marketing schemes that like the vitamin shop employees will try to sell to you. But yeah, really to rely on your diet. Like your diet is that crucial factor of keeping the weight off and making sure it doesn't come back. Really is finding something that you can enjoy. And really planning ahead is really what will help with that, because you'll know like, hey, I'm not a breakfast person, but I like enjoying my dinners, right? So plan for like a larger dinner in the day. And that way it's something that you enjoy, you can look forward to eating every day, because it is meant to be like a social and enjoyable act. So yeah.
And nutrients, right? So because your overall health depends on nutrients and everything, which are going to come from good food. All these pills and stuff, losing weight, unhealthy way, even if there's something that works, but normally it kind of does more damage to your vital organs. If there's bad stuff in there, it can bring in a lot of toxic stuff into your body, and not nutrients into your body.
Yeah.
Great thing. Thank you. Thank you.
Real
Sunny,
quick
for-
on that note, Sunny, I think it's important to also point out like things like Diet Coke that say they have 0 calories. Yeah, they're not going to count towards your calories for the day, but the ingredients that are in it still make you gain weight. So all the fake sugar, all the chemicals, that's what's going to still make you gain weight. And it's similar to the beer belly type thing. It's just going to add on and add to your belly. I don't know if you have more on that, Sahib, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
So yeah, there are a lot of additives, definitely in like Diet Coke and stuff. So obviously, once again, try to cut out as much sodas and juices as you can. But actually, I personally, like I find it as like a nice substitute. Like you could treat it as like a treat almost. Obviously, don't rely on them, but like it's okay for like maybe once a week or something to have a Diet Coke, if like that is like your treat, almost like you're treating yourself. But obviously, try to limit them. There's tons of additives in them, and water obviously is going to be the superior way over any other beverage you can really drink, because that's what will hydrate you. It'll keep you healthy. But yeah, really try to limit consumption of any of like, diet stuff really, because it's easy for you to get tricked in thinking, oh, I'm having a lot of the sweet stuff. Time for me to eat more. But it's okay to use as like a tool, maybe like once in a blue moon, right? But just try not to build it as like an integral part of your routine, definitely.
Yeah. One thing that I have personally learned from Sahib is because there are a lot of marketing schemes. I used to follow a lot of bulletproof stuff. And all these companies, because it's a billions and billions dollars industry, everyone is after making money from health related products.
Yeah.
And so it's really like, because his professors, his lab, his everything is world-class research. They don't preach anything until proper research is done and it's a proven, research. And so a lot of stuff is really out there nowadays on social media. Drink this, do this, eat this. You also, you always take that information with a question mark. Get into a little bit more research, where it's a good research from a university, really, well-renowned university that is not funded by another marketing company to market their product. That's one thing. He shares a lot of research with me, and that research is done by this Ivy League school, which is really well kind of, you can trust that information. So trust, it really matters, and it's really important for us to be aware of all the marketing messages that are out there.
Yeah, a lot of times, like a lot of statements on supplements and stuff are not like they don't need to be approved by any government agency or anything. They can say anything on those supplements, and literally nobody will stop them. So do not trust, take it with a grain of salt what every supplement says, right? Unless it is like backed by some sort of literature, or it's a proven fact. Take everything with a grain of salt, right? Yeah. Don't try to fall into the fads that like every supplement says it does, because they definitely don't.
All right, so it's 9 o'clock. A lot of people have huddles and stuff. And thank you so much, team, for joining. Hope it was helpful, useful. Now, please implement. Information is only good if it can be implemented. And now Sahib cannot eat all the healthy food for us. He can share what is good. What we have to do is adopt what we think is good for us, because our personal vision of health success is different. All of us have different vision, whatever aligns with your vision. So take that and adopt it and live a healthy life. Be happy. Take care. Bye.
Hope everyone enjoyed the presentation. Please try to implement as much as you can in your lifestyle. Yeah, have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Sahib.
Sahib.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sahib.
Sunny.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Sahib. Thank you, Sunny.
See everyone.